All right. I think everything should be loading up here. Trying to get it all going. I think we're good. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Just sitting here, thought I would chat with my people, give you guys a Q&A. And I don't have a topic for today. We'll just jump into whatever people want to jump into. How you doing, Lars? First, sugar, no, sugar, you missed it. You were so slow. But that's okay. Let's get everything flowing. Let's get this conversation going. Got a lot going on. If you guys, of course, saw Facebook or Instagram, you saw the picture I put up. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that. I don't want to. There's certain parts of it I don't want to discuss for obvious reasons due to civil stuff and everything. But you guys did see what I put up. I put up a picture of my car. One of them, I have like 25. You know. But yes, officially, yes, my vehicle was hit by a drunk driver. They have been charged. So that's kind of out there. So I made a post on that, and you guys can see it on Facebook. For those who haven't yet, let me link it here in the comments. All right, just in case. But yeah, feel free to chime in there, guys. Hold on. Well, just because you don't have a Facebook doesn't mean you can't see Facebook. All right. So there's that going on. And again, that's kind of a point. You know, I've already said, people know that I'm very, very, very pro sobriety. I'm very opposed to alcohol. You know, and yet again, there's another situation to where someone else's alcohol problem has created, you know, a real life problem for me. So as you guys can imagine, I'm probably wanting to double down even further on my position on alcohol, you know, and I'm willing to debate people on that stuff. You know, people really want to get in debates on it, you know, even other people in the community or out there. I'm happy to debate that with them. You know, I feel like we can make one heck of a case for that. But as you guys know, I mean, I'm at a point in life where I would be okay with complete prohibition, right? So yeah, I mean, total loss. The damage to that vehicle is just catastrophic. You're just seeing the one side, the inside. My God. Well, Pancake, no, I said I'm libertarian leaning, but the problem is, I would make a case for you that alcohol itself is the shackles of slavery. When we have an addictive poison that has now become culturally ingrained, is this freedom anymore? You know, but I've told you I'm not a libertarian. I don't ascribe to any ideology. Do I have some tendencies there? Yes. But I mean, this is also the case of, I have seen nightmare after nightmare after nightmare as a result of alcohol. The actual existence of alcohol. Hey, Pancake. But you sound like a pussy to me, man. I'm just going to tell you, okay, you're worried about them, then why don't you get rid of them too? See the problem with that? But, you know, that's its own separate topic. And if you ban, well, I don't have the power to ban alcohol, Pancake. It's not within my ability, is it? I'm willing to entertain the conversations, but until I am made God, Emperor of mankind, not a whole heck of a lot I can personally do about it. You know? No, early sobriety wasn't tough for me. Like, I quit cold turkey. Walked away. Like straight cold turkey, just like, that's it, I'm done. The hardest for me has been during tragic events, like deaths and tragic events. And that's actually the toughest part for me. How were your blood markers? I mean, that's a complicated question, Pancake, because when drinking, so like what decade do you see the issue? So I don't really know how to answer that, to be honest. I don't know how to answer it, to be honest. But let me ask you a question, Pancake. Can you make a case for it for alcohol? Tell me one good thing that alcohol exists for to outweigh all the negative. There's a lot of stuff that we can make a strong case for. There are things that a lot of people don't want, but we can make a strong case for it still. And we can understand why those things may not be banned or regulated the way that people want. So I would say to people who disagree, well, make a case then. I mean, if someone were to put me on the spot and have a real debate regarding, say, my stuff on firearms, of why I would argue that, I can make a strong case for that, like in an actual breakdown argument, if someone wanted to debate me, right, of why I hold my views on the Second Amendment. So if someone says that they hold a strong view that alcohol shouldn't be just completely done away with, then I would say to them, then, make their case. Explain what social good it brings to balance the equation back out. Because in a lot of cases, we can make that case. That's why we have debates as a society. That's why we have political debate. That's why we have these conversations, so that we can hash them out. But apparently, I guess you can't do that anymore without random crazy people shooting you. But up until, this month, you could do that, couldn't you, I suppose? You could sit down and have real conversations and debates. Who said I stopped eating tofu? Chicken's just a better, more cost-effective protein source generally. I don't have any problems with tofu, by the way. Like, I'm not anti-tofu. I'd still consider eating it every now and then, mixing in my stuff. I can make a case for the health benefits. But, makes sense. That's like asking me, hey, Jason, why did you stop eating whatever other healthy food you're not currently eating? It's just not currently on my purview and menu. Gram per gram for protein, But again, are you asking? So a better question is, you could do that with tons of food. You could ask me, Jason, why did you stop eating natural peanut butter? Jason, why did you stop eating? You see what I mean? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with tofu, if that's what you're asking. No. But let's jump over to other stuff. Tychus coaches a 1x8 enough weekly conventional daily volume after a top triple set, or just 4x5. I can't answer that because I don't see I don't see your entire program written out. So you can never answer questions like that in isolation. Tychus, enough volume for what? Are you doing no other posterior chain work? Then you're definitely going to say no. So again, questions like that need to be put in the context of your total program. 4x5 at 75% waste of time. Those are called warm-up sets. You're not going to grow much from that unless they're super fast. Like if you're doing it as almost speed work. You know what I mean? Like, but as a primary hypertrophy tool, right? Okay, so then you're not only doing that. So do you see the problem with the question? This gets into deep programming. You're now at a point where, and not to pimp my business, you're not asking for full consultation level, me to go over you with your program one-on-one. That's $100, and it's just my business, what I do. So if you really want me to review your programming in detail, that's a business service I offer, and I do it regularly. So, because we're coming back over to that point of, well, if that's your entire posterior chain, and you're like, well, no, then it gets complicated, right? I need to know your full training history, your strength, everything you're doing. Got to talk fatigue management. We got to talk lifestyle. All right. I was walking normally outside today and did some dude laid on the ground, propped 100 on the. No, they didn't, Dingleberry. Dingleberry, you're such a dingleberry. We know better. We know that didn't happen. Things that didn't happen for 500, Alex. Right? Come on, broski. How we gonna rate the forearm veins today, though? Where we at? How we doing on the veins? Yeah, I appreciate that, Pancake. Um, yeah, what a mess. I don't feel quads during 5 rep sets of squats, but I'm progressing. Well, just because we don't feel a muscle doesn't mean it's not working. How we feel can be a lie. Thank God you weren't in the car. Yeah, it's pretty bad, dude. Coach, you're not regular run sprints. Thoughts on idiots doing box jumps? Clowns are valid. Well, considering that I do box jumps, hey Dingleberry, I linked it already. Go to Facebook or Instagram. I have the write up of what I'm willing to talk about with a picture. Um, you know, but I'm not going to talk about any people involved specifically. Only the vehicle and that it was hit by a drunk driver. And I stated that in the post. So, but yeah, I mean, I put up a picture. Um, I mean, it's been weeks. My car was in police evidence for 2 weeks. What do box jumps do? And I wasn't aware you did them. Louis Simmons also promoted them at Westside. Would you like a name of elite, absolute elite coaches and lifters who promote box jumps? How about Chad Wesley Smith, who squats 900 pounds, or used to? He's a big proponent of box jumps. Duffin does sometimes. You'll find a lot of guys who squat 800 plus pounds who promote box jumps. So my question is, would you consider them clowns? Would be my question. For explosiveness, absolutely. Explosiveness. So box jumps, and the reason, plus NFL players. Even if you want to go back and see some way older material, are you familiar with Joe DeFranco? If you go look, he had guys even in that old documentary almost 20 years ago doing box jumps, right? Getting guys ready for the NFL combine. And these guys were like setting records in the combines and stuff. We were coming out of his stuff. So, I mean, box jumps are very high level elite athlete strength and conditioning tools. I mean, we are talking world record level squatters promote and perform box jumps. NFL players with $20 million contracts promote box jumps. So based on that, and I do box jumps off and on in phases. I did some this week actually on camera. So based on that context, would you say that box jumps are probably a decently effective tool? Or would you say that they're in the realm of clowns? But notice I'm giving you that context for it so that you see my perspective. Let's see. Let's just get rid of that nonsense. What's your max barbell curl? I don't know. Why would I max on it? Jason, you think swapping alcohol with nicotine pouches is better? I suppose, but why would you need the nicotine pouches? Straight edge lifestyle, does it still count as 2 sets if your first set is working up to a max and then the second set is rep work? I mean, are we down to so low a volume that we're having to count this, or what are we doing here? At a certain point, you got to ask, does it matter? Or is our volume so low that we're having to worry about that training max in our volume? Gokster, thoughts on a Brit card about to be introduced in the UK, basically a form of ID for Brits and to catch out people? I don't have thoughts on it. Since I don't know anything about it, I can't really have thoughts on it. Pancake diet says I have childhood trauma. It's hard for me to have sober thoughts. That's rough, man. Actually, I am sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that myself. You know, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, and I wish that it wasn't the case. So, um, so I guess my thing for that pancake, I don't know what advice to give you, but turning to substances to help you with that is not going to be the answer, right? Talking to a therapist, talking to maybe even go to church, talk to a minister. If you're not able to do therapy at this moment, this is stuff that you need to work through rather than turning to mind-altering substances to help you do it. Sorry about that. Tyka says, for me, a home gym warrior, I thought it was unnecessary. I'm not a sports athlete, nor do I feel the need to do this movement. I only stick to lists outside of weights. And Tyka, that's fine. Has your bulge been tracked? Dingleberry. You are a dingleberry. Hey, Tychus, and that's okay. So again, we're talking with we're talking improving athleticism, speed strength. Is it strictly necessary for you just to get jacked and strong and to be fit to do boxing? No, it's not a requirement. It's not a requirement. Let's be clear, right? Your streams help me. I'm glad to hear that, Pancake. I actually do hope that I helped you, right? So please don't stop. So Pancake's asking not to stop. And I get that from a lot of people. I get that from other fans. I get that from clients. What I do helps them. And so, yeah, I know that I need to continue to do this no matter what. I probably need to, gosh dang it, Dingleberry, just stop, man. Dude, you're such a clown. Yeah, man. I'm aware that you were referring to a bedroom situation, Dingleberry. Straight edge lifestyle. I just like the feeling of doing a max and then high rep sets afterwards makes a high rep set feel. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I train like that sometimes myself. That's a totally valid training method. To do a training max, a heavy single, and then do high rep work after is a very effective approach. Okay. Thoughts on training one side of the body when the other side is injured? That's standard protocol. As a coach, I have clients do that who are in a cast or injured. Pretty normal. Checking in from the road. All right, Ronnie. Dingleberry, my barbell is dirty from chalk, sweat, and moisture from outside. How can I clean it? 3-in-1 oil and nylon brush. All right. That is standard procedure for cleaning a good quality barbell. So 3-in-1 oil, right? You know what that is, 3-in-1. Comes in the metal cans with nylon brushes. This is how you clean a barbell. This is the appropriate method. This is even what Rogue will tell you to do with their bars, etc. Okay. Thoughts on Nordics, and are they too much ever to return? I'm not a fan of the Nordic hamstring curls. I think they're high risk and they don't bring anything special enough. What's your stance on low rep, high weight? What do you mean, what's my stance? I coach and work with and program all rep ranges, all the way up to run rep maxes, 20 rep sets, everything in between, speed work, dynamic work. So I don't understand your question. So what's my stance? You should coach a variety of rep ranges, irrespective of what your goals are. Right? I mean, I literally in the same workout will do singles and 20 rep sets, both in the same workout on camera. You'll see some of my clients do the same thing in their vlogs and stuff. There's rust. Can I remove it? 3-in-1 oil and the nylon brush will help you. Yes, you can take that rust off that way. Don't take a metal brush to it though. Right? Nylon brushes on those barbells. Do you like my full body A and B workouts? Horizontal press, squat, horizontal pull, workout B, vertical press, deadlift, pull up. I think that's reasonable. Why is Rogue so expensive? You guys know if they do Rogue never discounts anything, dude. Yeah. Also, should I close windows when it's humid so it doesn't affect? No, dude, mine's in the garage. Coach, have you ever used your home gym for bedroom activities? Yes. Mike Minzer teaches low rep, high weight once a week, only 8 reps. That's not low rep. Look, all right, low rep to me is 1 to 3. Like 6 to 8 is medium reps. Anything 10 and up is high rep. Like 1 to 3 is low rep. We all work with low reps, high weight. It's pretty much natural if people are actually into lifting weights, right? Pancake, oh, right. Dude, I got tons of Rogue stuff. As you can see in my blogs. So, Minzer, why are you talking about Mike Minzer at all? This is 2025. He legitimately should not even be a topic. There is no reason Mike Minzer should even be a current topic in the lifting world at all. They have really good customer service. I'd rather buy reverse hyper from them than from Titan. I've owned both a Rogue and a Titan reverse hyper. They're not even comparable. The Rogue is so dramatically better. But yeah, they do. They have very good customer service. Like say what you will about Rogue's prices, but he is right. Their customer service, you can call them to ask about limitations and specs. They'll go get one of their people to check stuff. If you're asking, hey, I need to know what a safety limit is on this device. There was nothing listed, something I bought from you. They'll go put you on hold and get someone to come over and talk to you to figure out what you need to know. Like their customer service is on point. No, I literally was concerned with how many calibrated plates I was putting on a Rogue plate holder of if it was safe. And I called them up and they got someone who works in the design department to sign off on it and say, yeah, that it was okay for me to stack those thin calibrated plates, like 6 or 7 of them onto one bar, that it would hold it. Like their customer service is legit. People think Minzer had secrets about training. People see YouTube shorts. Yeah, he really wasn't. But Mike Minzer didn't train anything like what he promoted later when he went crazy and became a methamphetamine addict. Right? You're listening to a meth addict who went crazy and never produced any champions. How is he relevant? But he didn't promote his own training methods. When we grew up, we saw what his training methods were. They were published. What he promoted later when he stopped lifting and was coaching looked nothing like what he did as a bodybuilder. So do you see the problem? Rogue is definitely worth it. You can tell the quality. I've owned a lot of equipment from different companies, including a bunch of Titan. And I agree with Dingle. You can tell the difference in the quality. It's apparent. Yeah, Jason, I called them up asking about the RH2, and the guy had a 20-minute conversation with you about it. Yeah, dude, they'll talk to you about their stuff. Like if you buy a piece of equipment, man, they will absolutely give you any details you want about it, troubleshooting problems, everything. Like they're Johnny on the spot with it. What happens in the home gym stays in the home gym pretty much, man. Why is a Rogue? It's built like a tank. So Ken, sure, I've got the Z Hyper. I had the Rogue or the Titan Economy one, and I gave it to someone as a gift when I bought the Rogue and put that Z Hyper together. Dude, because when I put it together, it's built like a tank, like just straight up, right? These are. What do you mean Minzer is a natural lifter? Like everyone knows Minzer used mega doses of Nandrolone. There was at least some other bodybuilders who he had reportedly admitted in some conversations that he ran 2 grams of DECA a week going into the Olympics. He was a pretty high dose steroid user. What do you mean natural? Like he loved DECA. Like Minzer loved nandrolone. That's what everyone knew back in the day. Like that was his drug of choice. DECA. Why are reverse hypers so overrated? What do you mean overrated? Thoughts on Nick Fuentes being? I don't know what that podcast is. I'm only vaguely familiar with Nick. I want to get a full reverse hyper, but my garage is full. That can be a downside, Kenshiro. That can be a downside for sure. Because it's big. Yeah, it is big. I get it. Just do more hip. No, you don't get the traction effect. Tiger says, yeah, I get that crazy amount of glute activation from it. It's the best pure hip extension. Yeah, Tychus, you haven't tried one yet. So when someone says that, like, I think it's overrated. I'm like, have you actually used one? Have you trained with one for any period of time, or have you actually got on one and just tried it and done it correctly? How I'm going to describe this. So Clint Darden talked me into buying my first one, right? He talked me into it, and how do I put it? I bought one, and when I tried it the first time, dude, I put 90 pounds on it, right? I managed to get it working, figured out the form, put 90 pounds on it, and I did like 3 sets of 20. When I got done, by the time I was done with the 3 sets, it felt like someone had taken icy hot and rubbed it up my spine, my spinal cord. Or like someone had taken a hot oil and injected it into my spine. It was like all tingly, and I had to like take a nap. Like it made me pass out and sleep. Just the way that it pulls on the spine, right? Mike Minder said a 4 or 5 benches where you become it. No, that's not necessarily true. Why are we still talking about Minzer, dude? This is 2025. Get the Rogue Scout. You can pull it up. You can put 270 on. The Rogue Scout, it's wobbly. Like it's okay. It's better than no reverse hyper, and it will work if you're in a tight bench for space. But it's not going to be the same. Meaning you're not going to be able to load it heavy. You got to be super strict. Like it's a totally different beast. It's still good. You just be aware it's not quite the same. Commercial back extensions good as good as no, they're honestly they're really not. It's also it's the Scout Hyper is way smaller. AMC says Rogue's unit is heavier than most people's max bench. Titan is also about the weight of a barbell curl. There will be a difference to those who are strong enough for it to matter. Right? Are you a fan of icy hot? Not necessarily, no. Clint Darden had interesting math that's strong enough to get up to, yeah, he was 65%. To get up to 4, yeah, he was like sets of 25 with 65% of the deadlift that you want to hit. Yeah, I go lighter than that with it. I just put 220 on mine right now. But the issue is Rogue lists the Scouts max at 180. Did they really? Sorry to bring this up. I don't know who that is. So straight edge, I actually have never heard of Joel Hansen. But I'm sorry to hear that. No, I can't currently bench 405. The most I've benched this year on camera was 350 for a 2-second pause. I did that a couple months back on camera. This year. I'm also 48 years old. What's the equivalent deadlift to a 400 bench? Probably 600, I guess. Is doing reverse hyper isn't even necessary if you. Andrew says, who said 250? I didn't say 250. I said 350. Well, then you put up your pause bench for 350. Right. Now I've done 365, but I was at a little bit heavier body weight a couple years back. But at this body weight, there's 350. What do you mean? I've done it on camera with calibrated plates. You're a clown. Do you follow Mentor? You're a clown. Just stop. Is doing reverse hypers even necessary if you're an intermediate squatting less than 405 and doing? Is it necessary or is it beneficial? Those are two different questions. Wow, Jason, did you really feel that after the first time you tried the reverse hyper? Dude, I had to take a nap. I feel it activates the hip extension muscle movement patterns. This is also great for mobility, low back cut. Yeah. What's more impressive, a 225 overhead press or 315 band? Those are close, but I think a 225 overhead press is a little more difficult to reach. Hard to believe because you don't weigh what? I'm not 180. I'm 209. I did it at 209. How much you think, dude? You think I'm only 180 pounds? I look 180. Man. In real life, nobody says that. I've had people accuse me of being 20, 30 pounds heavier than I am. Yeah. The funniest one, I was chatting with some people, some other lifters, and one of them said, "What do you do?" Like at first, this is some time back. I was probably 225, and the dude's like, "What are you, about 6 foot, 250?" No. The dude was dead serious. We were chatting. I'm like, dude, I'm 5'9", 225 at the time. People are funny. Coach, I heard a 30-minute 5K goes 135 minutes. No, I don't think that it's that. I don't know. But then again, I looked up average times for men in America, the national average in a 5K for guys who actually do 5Ks, and the national average for men was 32 minutes. Yeah. So my best 5K recent, just playing around, was 28 minutes. Yeah, Rodney, in person, yes, I've had people who do, which is hilarious. That's because dudes lie about their height so much, they all add 2 or 3 inches. That I've actually had even friends who know me, have known me for years. Again, it's the point is because people lie that much about their height. All right. Pancake says, I've seen hundreds of people bench 315, but rarely 225 because they don't train it. So that's why it's a lower number. But I would say a 225 overhead press is a little more difficult to reach than a 315 bench, by a small amount, but it is a little more difficult, I think. Pancake says, I'm 6'1", 220 and get compliments every time I go to the store, dude. My arms, they're about, right now, they're like 16 and a half at the moment. Now, I'm actually 5'9" either. But keep in mind how people inflate their height numbers everywhere. So when I went to an expo, I was the same height as the guys who claimed 6 foot, whose online stats. Like, so just to give you context. But no, I'm actually 5'9". Leighton says 5'11" IRL and 6'2" on Tinder, exactly. So no, I'm 5'9" at 209 to 210 right now. Taylor Schmidt doing deads right now. Wish me good vibes, Taylor. Hey, I want you to go in there when you do those deadlifts, and I want you to pull with the force of 1,000 suns. All right, own that shit. All right, that was on Facebook. Coach's orders. Coach, if given a chance to collab with Athlete next with you, I don't know why he would want to. with your logic, your 5'9" claim is actually, other than mine, it is the real. That's what I mean. Technically, if I wanted to use correct internet stats, it would be 6 foot. So, which is why I found it amusing, because I never saw the need to give anything but the real number. Like 6'1". Really good at seeing nuance, Jason. Most people would immediately said that 225 overhead is more impressive than 315 bench. You're able to see that less people, and that's exactly why. In terms of like if you dedicated equal time to them, yeah, the 225 it would only be slightly more difficult. But it's like you said, 20 times as many people take the bench serious than take the overhead press serious. So you're gonna see more people with a bigger bench. All right. At the same time, you were able to tell that 225. Yeah. But these are lifts I've hit. I've hit a 225 overhead press quite a few times in the past on camera. My best ever on camera was 227.5 because it's 2 plates with the microplates. The average in the U.S. for white guys is like, no, it's 5'9" actually. Well, the national average. I also say that people can more easily cheat on bench press or use a very short. Yeah, there's not a lot you can do with that on an overhead press. Can you replace reverse hypers with Spanish squats for posterior? You guys bring the Spanish squat things up. I don't know what that is outside of my live streams. My live streams are the only place I've ever heard of a Spanish squat. Right? Only place I've ever heard of it. So what specifically makes it the squat Spanish? Like, what is it about this squat that makes it? What's your take on symmetry? I don't know. I guess you want prostate cancer. I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, Jason, a lot of guys that are big into the bench press are very fat, overweight, use a crazy arch. I use a super wide grip, but I still have that long range of motion. All right. No, because the pole that I hit, you could see that it bumped when my head hit it. I've been measured at 5'9" to the exact amount in the doctor's office, with most resolved by the doctor. Plus my DEXA scan kicked it out at 5'9", by the way. I had 3 DEXA scans that I published years ago. The DEXA scan read my height also. So I don't know why people love to argue about my height. It's like their biggest, weirdest thing that people obsess over. It's really strange. No, I grew up super wide, Jay. So even my 350 is all the way index on the rings. I'm way out here. Right? I bench real wide these days. Let's switch from conventional thoughts on dead hangs for forearms. They can be useful, yeah. I mean, dead hangs are good for grip. They're good for forearms, right? Forearms apiece. How we did, by the way, guys, let's rate the forearms. We have not rated the forearms yet today. What are we going to give them today? Let's get a forearm out of 10. Right. So in terms of size, vascularity, what we got going today. I can't bench wide like that, Jason. I'm 6'4" and have relative. I have really long arms too. My wingspan is like 6'1", tip to tip. So notice my range of motion is still super long when I bench like that. All right. If you can look at the footage. People don't realize how wide I'm benching because they see that long range of motion and they don't look and realize my hands are almost to the J-hooks. I can't bench wide like that, Jason. Okay. Popeye tier 5 now, 175. That's a good number if you're a lean kid, sure. Does aluminum foil, what do you mean? I don't understand aluminum foil. No, do not put metal on your barbells to clean them. Well, let me be clear, Dingleberry. Unless you have really cheap barbells that you don't care about, you don't mind throwing away, nylon brushes, 3-in-1 oil. If you want to use a little bit of like detergent, like dishwashing soap, to clean them a little bit, you can with some hot water. But generally, any of the deep scrubbing to get rust off, you use 3-in-1 oil and nylon. I'm going to reiterate that again so that you don't try to sue me for destroying your barbells and telling you to put metal on them. Well, I'll be getting a letter from your lawyer going back to my live stream, trying to sue me for replacing your barbell or something stupid. I'm going to tell you what Rogue will tell you if you call them. If you get on the phone and call Rogue and say you want to clean one of their barbells, they are going to tell you the same thing I told you. All right? I feel like you were not listening to me. I'm going to be stern with you because you did not pay attention the first time. You clean rust off of a good quality barbell that you're not willing to throw in the dumpster. 3-in-1 oil with nylon brushes. All right. Coach, will you ever sign up for arm wrestling when you commit? I'm not interested in arm wrestling. I got long forearms. I don't know that that's good. I could be wrong. It seems like it can be good. Yeah, the longer side makes benching harder, makes deadlifting easier, benching harder. I had to work really hard to get my bench up into the 300s with my arm length. But we're there. I do rep work with 315 every workout almost. Right? Can I clean the whole? Yes, you can clean the entire barbell with 3-in-1 oil nylon brushes and then wipe it down with cloth, right? Afterwards, like you can wipe it down with like a shop rag, right? What's my wingspan? My tip to tip is 6'1" is my wingspan. So I've got like I guess a 4-inch ape index. The problem with using metal is that you may embed other metals. You may embed foreign metals into your knurl. Right? You don't want to get other metals. You're not trying to accidentally create an alloy here. And it sounds like a minor deal. Yeah, So again, the same thing with brushes. So if you take a metal brush, like say a brass brush or whatever, you're going to embed some of that metal into it. Right? And you're not trying to do that, because that's also then going to cause other possible contaminants in the metal. It's going to cause different types of oxidation. Right. So, I mean, if you've got a good like I have some really good barbells, like I have all those Texas power bars, right? I'm not trying to ruin those, So in that case, I only clean my barbells with 3-in-1 oil and nylon. And then again, you can wipe them down with rags, afterwards. Because your arms look like an inch long. I know they do in the veins. It's the carbs because I'm fasted in the mornings. Straight Edge Lifestyle says my bench is super weak. Hey guys, there's only 9 likes, by the way. We're 44 minutes in and there's only 9 likes. Let's get those up a notch. Come on now. Hit that like button. This is what gets our views and our outreach up. Help a brother out. Thank you so much. Do you plan? I have no intention of doing it. I have no plans to do a bodybuilding show. No. But back over to Straight Edge, my bench is super weak. I'm sitting intermediate deadlift and I squat, but I only bench 75 kilos for 5. Well, keep going. Hey, put in the time, man. Keep putting in the work. Right? I have an American barbell training bar. It was like 3. Yeah, they should be good. So don't ruin your bar then. You got a good barbell, right? I've heard of that brand actually. You got a good barbell. Don't ruin it cleaning it with the wrong stuff. Right? Don't ruin it. So again, 3-in-1 oil nylon brush. You can wipe it with rags afterwards. You can get all the rust off, but you also don't want to let it get too rusty. They're going to get a little rust. But then that 3-in-1 oil, that thin layer of it still embedded in there, will help with the rust protection a little bit. Jason can do bodybuilding if you want another wrong. I mean, it's not my thing. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in dieting down that lane either, subjecting my mental or physical health to that. I mean, Jay's got a point. Now, a lot of people, certain fans would care, but I don't think my core fan base would care, to be honest. The people who are originally my old OG followers who still might chime back in, they probably wouldn't be into it. There's some company in fitness who sells reverse hypers. I've never heard of them, dude. I've never heard of them. But we rated the forearms. How are we going to rate the legs? How are the legs doing today, guys? How are we going to rate that? Rate the calves. Give me a number there too. Everybody's going to be like, Coach, you got to stand up for that. Someone has a full-time job or other interests, hobbies, getting ready for a bodybuilding show would be a massive. It can be, yeah. I'm an OG follower, Jason, just a different account. All right, cool, man. I agree, Jason. I have to stand up for legs. You guys gonna drop me a super if I stand up for the legs? All right, let's see. Well, I don't know if we're gonna catch them on camera here. Do you regularly oil your reverse hyper to avoid it squeaking? No, you have grease in it. So they have Zerk fittings. All right. So I have a grease gun for the reverse hyper. So it has Zerks on it. So you just take a standard like automotive type grease gun. You put it on there and put grease in. You pack the bearings first before you put it together. Jay says, I still find it amazing. People have interest in bodybuilding after all these guys dying over the last, I know, right? Hey, Bill, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for the super. Those legs aren't free, folks. Dropping zero. Someone did late to be good, man. Jason, show us the buttocks muscles, please. Oh, my God. No, we're not doing a rear glute spread. Jesus Christ. Only doing machines should, in theory, give you most of the muscle gains if you do not have it. Ezekiel, no, let's not do muscle machines, dude. You need to be doing free weights. Should always be your foundation, man. The barbell is your foundation, right? Get strong. Get strong. Yeah, I'll most likely get the scalp, but I'm afraid I'll be stuck with that after I max it out. I mean, you can just rep it out. You can just rep that scalp hyper out. And sure, I'm able to do hip thrusts of 55 for sets of 6, for instance, but I have super strong glute hips. Okay. Your video talking about the 10 sets of deads has me. I just do 5 sets. Oh my God. I used to do like 10 triples on deficit deadlifts and stuff sometimes. Do women expect hung if Jack? I don't know. I'm not going to talk about my penor. The response by women has been generally favorable. All right. As far as direct forearm work goes, is it best to spam or just treat the same as other muscles? POs, I would treat it like other muscles. No, don't come in and be like, I need to do 25 sets for my forearm. No, a few good sets, just like any other muscle. All right. 3x10 is fun, but it can beat you up. Yeah. If you're small, that's okay. We're all friends here. Okay. Dingo, I'm not small. Dude, let us build strength or just display strength, both. I was doing a double 5x5 twice a week for shit, but lowered it to 3x5 so I can add cleans and watch recovery, right? Did typo. Right. Let's do that double. Okay, I think you meant for deadlifts. Yeah. Jason, I tried seal rows at my gym, went for a month earlier this year, and they were amazing. Seal rows are good. Do your big legs make your member smaller? I don't think so. Thoughts on mewing? Oh my God. I think it's silly. Right. Oh. And no, he doesn't mean mewing like a cat. They make your member look smaller. I mean, my legs are big enough in theory, but I'm good actually. I'm good to go, dudes. Zoolander expression with your jaw chin. What? What are you drinking? This is just flavored water with potassium salts in it. So I make whole gallons of electrolyte water to where I'll put like up to a gram of potassium citrate and then a little bit of like flavoring, like Sonic Cherry Limeade or something, or sugar-free Kool-Aid. The Enzer says he's only 4.5 inches. I mean, that's limp, right? Jason, do you feel pullovers are better with a high rep range 15? What? How does it? Oh, I don't know what to say about that. Why can't you just drink? Because I like the flavored water. I like the flavored water. Don't hate on the brother for drinking flavored water. Right? Like, Coach, why do you drink the flavored water? What's wrong with you? Well, it just is what it is. Water works for the years. And I agree. Hey, and I don't see a problem with that, right? We did just fine even drinking nasty water. I personally prefer to add a little flavor, and I like to add some potassium. I want to get the extra electrolytes, and the potassium salt doesn't taste particularly good. For your 50th birthday, you should deadlift 5 for 5. I think I did an AMRAP with 500 on my 40th. I got like 7 or something on that day. I don't remember. I have to go back and check. For the 50, can you at least show us 385? I don't know, man. That's asking a lot. I mean, my best this year was 350. 10K in 50 minutes for 50th birthday. Now, that would be pretty solid. That would be something. Is the 5 to 8 rep range reasonable for back? It can be. I like to keep those mostly a little lower, but it can work. It can be reasonable. It can be reasonable. Hey, Deezer, how much can you bench? I mean, you're expecting me as an older man to bench these big numbers. What do you bench? So your followings of Mike Menzer have gotten you to what? Seeing you bench 350 plus over 50 on the platform would be sick. Yeah, it would be interesting. That would be fun. I might be able to pull it off. We'll see. I benched 375. Do you have footage of it? Is it on your channel? Dips and pillars are my favorite. Pecs and triceps, those are good movements. They're good movements, Jay. Like those are solid choices. Right? I benched 350 with a pause, no footage, but footage of 330. All right, cool. Dingleberry says, I want Andrew Tate to kiss my feet and give me all his money. He probably would. The dude is clearly in the closet. Inverted rows and curls for the pulling. Right. I train barefoot. Chris Duffin sold me on that years ago. Keep in mind, you've seen Chris Duffin like do 1,000-pound squats with knee wraps barefoot, right? So I don't have any YouTube idols. I have nothing but contempt for Jordan Peterson. He's the carnivore guy. Jordan Peterson is the most responsible individual for carnivore being popularized, and it's deadly. So I have nothing but contempt for the man. Right. Right. I have contempt for him for promoting the stupid carnivore diet and crazy ass lies about his daughter to do it. Like doctors just tear it apart. Like experts in who specialize in autoimmune disorders have just ripped him a new one over it. How full of shit he is. So he's promoted this crazy, dangerous fad diet, making up lies, him and his daughter to do it. So, yep. So to me, Jordan Peterson is the carnivore diet guy. To me, that is who he is. You know? Well, I don't really believe in the deep state, to be honest. I'm not a conspiracy guy, honestly. Right? Trump is a deep state. But barefoot training, it builds stronger feet and ankles. You get better rooting to the ground, right? Foot strength, ankle strength, they're all dramatically improved by lifting barefoot. Same thing with the barefoot running. It's just better. It is better for your feet and ankles. You have to have strong feet, which I do. It's like you guys see me run barefoot. I push my sled barefoot. I sprint with the sled on the asphalt barefoot on camera too. Honestly, rather what? Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I think you're grasping there. Sounds like it would burn the feet. No, man, your feet toughen up, dude. They adapt. You get tough feet, man. Again, we could talk about the pussification of the Western male. When I run barefoot, dude like throw a big deal. Like, if they're running barefoot, that's got to be hard on your feet. Like, yeah, this is why we're gonna fall. You know what I mean, guys? This is why we are going to fall. And JP went to carnivore. He's still eating inflammatory foods. Thoughts on dual citizenship in the United States? I don't have thought. What do you mean? Right. Oh, man. Isn't running barefoot for like the savannah? Well, it is, but it also works really well on the asphalt. Right. I do it right there on the concrete. Yeah, to me, Jordan Peterson will be nothing but the carnivore guy. That's just who he is to me. It's something about cleaning your bedroom or some shit. But to me, he's going to be the guy who got up and made up lies about his daughter claiming it cured her medical condition, when even medical experts have said, no, that's not what happened. They've even written on it. So again, he's promoted a deadly fad diet where people are not eating vegetables. No one would have heard about it if it was not for him. And now it's a widespread cult. And he is the number one person to blame for that because he popularized it. So I don't care for him at all. That's just how I feel, I would take him more seriously and at least look into his other topics had he not done something so evil. He killed thousands of people. Like making your bed, right? Whatever, something cleaning your bedroom or something. He does some stuff about cleaning your bedroom or some shit. And my daughter's rheumatoid issue was cured by eating carnivore. Really? You mean she outgrew it? What's your weight at? 209 to 210. But I wake up at in the mornings. Sorry. Goal weight, I don't have a current goal weight. I'm just recomping for now. I'll eventually get down under 200. At this moment, I don't have a exact loss goal. I'm okay with sitting at this weight and shifting body composition slowly until I'm ready to start working back down. But I mean, I've cut like 16, 17 pounds earlier this year. All right. What is your previous walking dingle? I don't really care what your comment is about walking. His voice is grating to me. The podcasts are unwatchable. Oh, Peterson. I've never really paid attention. I don't really listen to the guy. But yeah, he's a carnivore guy. Daughter has a medical condition that you usually 80% of people outgrow by the time they reach the age where hers started going in remission. It just goes into remission on its own. It's nothing to do with the diet she did. And the diet's not even capable of curing it, like hormonally or medically speaking. So again, he's a complete bullshit artist. What's my squat max at the moment? I don't know. I hit 500 earlier this year. The most I've done recently on camera was like 435, but I'm going to build it back up. I'm going to push back up to 500. So that's one of the goals I have here coming up on 49. I turned 49 this year. Yeah. Right. But no, I have hit a 500 on camera back in January, but I was a little heavier body weight. Right. And plus, I like the barefoot running. So, I mean, people are just hating for no reason. It's ridiculous. And shoes they can also cause knee pain and other stuff. Running without shoes is your natural gait. Right. Yep. You can have some empathy for Peterson because he probably doesn't know that it goes away with age. Yes, he does. Hey, Pancake, if I had a daughter with a serious medical condition, I would go research it. Are you telling me Jordan Peterson is too stupid to go read what experts in different autoimmune conditions have to say about his daughter's medical condition? Are you telling me he is too dumb to do this? I don't believe you. I don't think that he is too stupid to go research the medical condition. He does not strike me as illiterate. I'm positive beyond a shadow of a doubt he is capable of reading and doing basic research. Therefore, he knows this. And yet he still promoted this stupid diet. Mm-mm. I like the salt and pepper. Yeah, appreciate it. A lot of women like the salt and pepper too. Yeah. Yeah, I've been able to grow it back a little. My skin's doing better. My psoriasis is doing a bit better. So, yep. Hey, Dingle. No, I think most men are straight. All right. Hey, Coach. What's your opinion on diet breaks to stabilize leptin and hormones in between long periods of calorie deficit? There might be something to that. Like I think the little short diet breaks people do is not necessarily beneficial for metabolic reasons, but in terms of stabilizing things like leptin and ghrelin for better appetite control, it can be a viable strategy. I think his dogma on carnivore is not through ignorance but arrogance. I think he's a straight scam artist on it. I don't know why he did it, but it has to be scam artist. AJ Dingleberry says a lot of really crazy, weird stuff in here. It's his MO. He'll start talking about about gay domination and bondage and stuff out of nowhere. Give him a few minutes. Yeah, it's his thing. He'll start talking about his manservants and stuff. Ridiculous. I mean, to each their own, dude. Like, I mean, people are who they are. I'm not gonna judge for that. You know, I'm not here to judge people's kinks. You know, I got better stuff to do with my time. You know. People project and think everyone is, yeah. Sometimes, you know. Right. There was probably a time because there were more people in the closet a long time ago, but we're not in that case anymore. Like everyone is pretty much open about it at this point. Most people who are like, so a lot of that's gone away. You know, there's literally no benefit to someone not being out, really and truly. They'll actually be supported for it. Best way to lose 100 pounds while not left looking like a bag of onions. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by a bag of onions. I mean, if you mean loose skin or something, not really anything. It's just potentially going to happen. All you can do is tighten it over time, get leaner. Maybe growth hormone, other stuff might help. Keep your diet rich in antioxidants and protein. Amazing stream, Coach. Appreciate it, Dingleberry. Anything going on Facebook? No, nothing new there. Coach, does time fly between age 29 and 49? No, it doesn't. Man, my last 10 years have been long, honestly. My last 10 years have felt like really like 10 years. So that's why, like, when people bring up certain stuff from the past, I'm like, how do you expect, like, why are we even talking about, like, the fake Merck thing, for example? That's been over a decade ago. I literally removed all of that over 10 years ago. It was all done in a single short window of time. So when people still bring that up, I'm like, I wouldn't even remember it. Like, it literally was so small and such a long time ago that if people didn't make a big deal about it, you guys know I would have forgotten about it. I literally would have forgotten about it. not even realized it existed. It's because it feels like that long to me. It would have just been a tiny blip on the radar, almost like that one. But oh, do you remember that time when we were drinking and you made this joke? And you're like, what year did that happen? No, I don't really remember that. It would be like that, honestly. It really would. But there's videos with 1 million views about it, and I get DMs, hate DMs 7 days a week about it still. But if it wasn't for that, I would have literally forgotten. I would have literally just forgotten the whole thing. I wouldn't even remember it. It was just not a big deal. I still remember the coffee cup and the U Sports, right? So context, think about how long ago that was. How could you, because it was such a small thing, John, I've made so many videos. Like, no, seriously, John, had people not made a big deal about it, I wouldn't even remember because it was just such a small thing. It's just a tiny little blip. Just like when you guys bring up, hey, this one guy, but you made a video about this guy, whatever, 12 years ago, but I don't remember. And I really don't. You're like, what? I have no idea who that is. It would probably be like that. Seriously. How long did it go on? A very short. It was a tiny number of videos, and maybe like a 3-month period. Over a decade ago. It was over 10 years ago. And it was all confined to like maybe a 3-month period of time. Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's been over 10 years. Doesn't seem like that long ago. To me, it does, Aldo. It literally feels like a lifetime ago. Like, I even go back, people still remember, what? Damn, guys. Had there not been so much drama still around it, I would have forgotten it. Yeah. So again, it's kind of interesting how our different perceptions are. Well, you say that, it's like straight at you, like the hell with this old stuff, except I literally get death threats about it. Still to this day, even on my social media, it gets brought up every day somewhere, 7 days a week still, which is amazing to me. Like the people are still even thinking about it. It's quite strange. So from my perspective, it's really weird that it got blown out of that degree of proportion. It's actually like surreal. All right. Why did you do it? I gave a full explanation already, John. I gave a 15-minute explanation and apology like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. They got tens of thousands of views. Like, no, I have a whole video addressing that now. Because now you want me to go back and remember? Now you're asking me what was your motive and what were you thinking? You want me to remember that when I barely remember the events at this point? I gave you an explanation years ago. So, and I gave an apology. It's 15 minutes long. So, and that's going to be more current because I have better memory of it. Right? Make sense? I recall the video, the TL video. No, the other one. I made a second one. I don't want to talk about. I don't care about any of these fitness people. Let's just move on. I've already said I don't care about the fitness world online. Irrelevant. Neither of those people are even on my radar, man. Also, keep in mind I had been drinking when I made all those videos too, with the over the top. The thing they're talking about, the fake Merc, I was not sober when I made those videos. But, hey, Jason, your guitar's in the background. Inspired me to pick up a guitar again. I'm trying to track guitars from home on my PC. Nice, man. Nice. Good stuff. Hey, Ezekiel, I'm going to ask you not to because it's just I've literally gotten death threats and had the bomb squad close my street down all over some stupid videos. No, it wasn't even soldier. It was mercenary, John. Hitman. A fake hitman. It wasn't a soldier. Right? Yeah, so it literally is a waste of time. It was like some Alex Jones type fun stuff, publicity, trolling, messing with people, just being stupid. That was my inspiration, was Alex Jones, actually. I do remember that. So Alex Jones was my inspiration for that. So, all right. Dropkick Jesus, good afternoon. What's up, Dropkick? I mean, that's how I felt later, Alan. It was all done as just a silly, goofy entertainment and just kind of putting on a roll for fun while I've been drinking and being stupid. And yeah, anyone who thought I was being serious, and I did say that in that first one, that I made a later, deeper apology. And if I recall in my apology video, yeah. So, no, the implication wasn't that, though, John. So you guys misinterpreted it. People spun it that way. Keep in mind that there was a flipping of script. People made videos in response that changed what I said. They took it out of context, but it doesn't matter. I'm probably just going to ban you for going into it at this point because I just want to let it die in the past. Yeah. You even going that deep into it means you're like something like, I'm just kind of like, whoa, to even care enough to say something like that is weird to me. Like, dude. Let's just get rid of you. Yeah, Alan, it was for entertainment. High level, layered, subtle, fictitious trolling often. Yeah. Well, let's move on. Let's get rid of that guy. He struck me as kind of trolling, anyways. I don't need it. Right. I'm probably going to wind this down here shortly, though. We've been running this a while, and we did over an hour in the coffee chat this morning, too. Plus, I did a run. I've done over 3 hours of streaming today for you guys. I think it is just almost time to wind it down. You're making more money and helping more people make good lifestyle choices, living sober. Haters always want to dig up old dirt. I appreciate that, Ted. And I'm going to keep pushing the sobriety. Ted, did you see my picture thing? I don't know if you, yeah, I'll link you the post. But yeah, I'm doubling down on the sobriety, man. Doubling down on pushing out that message. What about you, Ted? You're alcohol free. Ted is sober, yeah. No, Ted does not partake in alcohol. Right? I mean, I'll leave the stream going long enough for Ted to tell you. He wants to. No, Ted is a non-drinker. Coach Blaha, silencing the haters I love. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to double down again because my life has been affected once more by a drunk driver yet again. That's good. Best you can do. Yep. Well, I don't just mean my sobriety. I'm committed to staying sober. Like, I've straight up made a promise to God on that one. So I am sober for life. But as far as my message of pushing sobriety, I was already pushing this message. And now a drunk driver has impacted my life again. You know, yet again, a drunk driver has injected themselves into my life and caused carnage and destruction. So, best thing I can do is double down on that message. All right, but I think it's about time to wind this down. Let me wind down the Facebook. And then I'll wind down the tubes. And then I'll send Ted that message. So I gave up alcohol and getting gout attacks at 38 years. There you go, man. All right, guys, I'm gonna wind this down. Love you guys. Give you guys a follow shot before we go. And we're out.